Look, it's a flood.
It's a flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Alright, Doc, we're gonna play a little game.
Okay, Jigsaw.
We're gonna play a game, and it's called Build the Ideal Society. We're gonna do it draft style. 5 rounds, you and I, we get to make rules, decrees for this society. And by the end, it's gonna be the perfect world. Ready? First pick, go you.
So I have to construct the perfect society based around 5 different rules of engagement.
Of that, well, I mean, you and I collectively, because this is clearly a two-party system.
So, I see what you did. I see what you did there. Okay. So, let's start with the golden rule. Treat everyone as thou wish to be treated.
It's not a bad one. It's a pretty solid one. No elaboration. You're just gonna go with the golden rule. Hard set, hard fast.
Yeah, what is there to elaborate on that?
What if you're a masochist? What about the masochists?
So you want me to give all 5 of my degrees?
No. I'm just arguing here semantics because
Okay,
I'm arguing in bad faith while I think of mine.
My second rule was...
No, but here's the thing. We said draft order.
Well, then you have to give your draft. I can't...
Okay, fine. I will give my draft order, and that I will say... The price of streaming subscriptions should not increase any more relative to the amount of content that they produce. Therefore, if Netflix increases its prices by 10% without adding an additional 10% of content, therefore, the price increase is unjustified and every single one of them should be put to the guillotine.
Because I feel like somebody did just raise their prices again. It might have been...
Actually, you know what? That's it. That's my decree. We're bringing back the guillotine. That's my first decree. You're saying golden rule, I'm saying guillotine.
Price gouging will get you guillotined?
Yes.
Yep, okay. I feel like that that's relevant, that tracks. I feel like that totally tracks. My second rule to further elaborate and establish upon my first rule was gonna be no non-consensual violence, right? So you masochists out there, you guys are safe. Right?
The people that said yes at the Diddy parties, you're good.
You guys are safe, right? Boxers, football players, you guys are still safe. Hockey players, you guys are safe, right? No non-consensual violence, right? If you want to square up with somebody, essentially we're bringing back duels.
So
right?
you're saying like 2 hockey players, when they go, as if they both square up and they give the quick thumbs up, they're good to go?
There's a couple of states in the union where if you both agree to a fist fight, all you have to do is like call the cops and they can watch you guys fight it out safely to make sure nobody gets curb stomped, right? But like, I feel like I'm no Second Amendment hater here, right? Like, I like guns, like, America, fuck yeah. But, however though, I think we should bring back dueling, like, instead of guns, and swords,
pick the fork. No, I mean,
okay, if you really got a vendetta like that, then sure, I guess you guys can really like fucking manhunt it out, right?
I was thinking like dueling. Like if you're talking dueling, I would talk real dueling. Like that's with duel discs and duel monster cards.
Yeah, I know that's what you meant, nerd. But I thought for a second there, I thought you meant like fencing, and I was like, yeah. Do you know how many fucking...
Actually, this is my next thing. You know, I am going to... You say non-consensual violence. I am going to take this and say my second decree is legal disputes can be determined by an agreed upon challenge between both parties.
So dueling.
Yes.
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 You know how many neckbeards are looking at their fucking katana collection right now and going, my time has come. I knew I voted for Trump for the right reasons. We're bringing back dueling,
that's
baby.
all fine and dandy until the person you're just like, no, we're gonna do this in Mario Kart.
Rainbow Road.
We're gonna do this in Mario Kart. And then you're gonna have the judiciary determine what is like eventually between the person who wants to fight katanas and the other who wants to play Mario Kart, they're gonna find the happy medium at Twisted Metal. And that's how it's gonna be determined.
All neighborhood disputes will be settled over Twisted Metal. Damn, who is your favorite Twisted Metal character?
What was the dude that was just one wheel?
Oh, Axel?
Axel? Yeah, I like Axel.
Oh, man. Shout out to Anthony Mackie. I never watched the Twisted Metal
Me
live
neither,
action.
but it has 2 seasons, so Anthony Mackie, you're doing you.
You're doing your job. Hey, and that's despite fucking Captain America Brave New World sitting at, is it Brave New World?
Yeah.
Yeah, sitting at 68% on
All right, so
IMDb
it's your third rule. Your third rule of society.
We're just gonna brush past Captain America Brave New. That's fine. That's pretty much what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
So
including Harrison Ford, who was in it.
moving on. No disrespect to Anthony Mackie, though. No, we will take no Anthony Mackie slander here.
It's not slander to say that his head looks like a me character, though. It's just kind of factual.
So, third rule, treat others how you want to be treated. No non-consensual violence. And third rule would be... It's like, no. Damn, see, I'm like stuck between wanting to say something funny and wanting to give like a serious critique. I felt like I was able to encompass both with my first 2 words. And now I feel like I gotta come up with a good follow-up here. And we already said price gougers will be guillotine.
Yes. We've already brought back straight up French Revolution. And technically, it's supposed to be painless and therefore neither cruel or unusual.
Ooh. Okay. All right. If you are found in necessity of immediate cranial removal because of your predatory business practices, you must appeal to Luigi Mangione.
The court of Mangione?
Oh, that's it. We will be removing the Supreme Court and replacing them with Luigi Mangione. That is my 4th societal rule. Third societal rule.
How about we keep the Supreme
and
Court?
Bernie Sanders. No.
Luigi Mangione is just the executioner.
I'm replacing the Supreme Court with Bernie Sanders, AOC, and Luigi Mangione, and Cat Williams.
Well, no, the thing is, we're talking about a whole... That's an even number of votes. You need to have a tiebreaker.
A tiebreaker? Who would be a good tiebreaker for that panel? Bill Maher?
John McCain's daughter?
No. Then we might as well just go with who's the Republican Kamala Harris was Kamala. It's Trump's America.
Liz Cheney?
Yeah. Throw Liz Cheney.
All right, so that was your third rule.
Yes. The Supreme Court will be immediately replaced with a panel of Luigi, Bernie Sanders, Liz Cheney, and who? Oh, and Cat Williams, and AOC.
My 4th is every social media company must have an open source algorithm.
My 4th is no more social media companies. Only forums like Reddit and Tumblr. Am I allowed to cancel out one of your rules with Spotify? We never established that. That's why, you can't just do these things on a whim like that, because we don't establish ground rules. But you can pick another one. Oh, so my 4th rule is all social medias will now be MySpace, Tumblr, and Reddit. Oh, and AOL chat.
5. Major referendums will be available by smartphone.
Damn, because my 5 was gonna be we're bringing back dial-up internet. We're getting rid of 5G.
No, I'm gonna say we're gonna have referendums
voters out there.
Referendums by smartphones.
All you truth speakers out there, we're getting rid of 5G and I'm bringing back dial-up. We're bringing back old Nextel.
No, I want to be able to vote on gay weed marriage via smartphone.
I want to be able to vote on fucking sex changes for transgender immigrant children via my newest iPhone update.
Yes.
My Neuralink. Okay? If I can't vote on amendments via my Neuralink, then I want Elon Musk deported immediately.
Like, look. With your no social media, my voting by smartphone is way less prone to being manipulated. So boom, we call this collaboration.
That's it, baby. And that is how you build a society that will rise on up
and crash on through.
This is Doc
and Ziggy
back at you again, baby.
And we are the Fluff.
That's right, your favorite weekly pop culture digest, bringing you our pop perspective.
To put the culture in context.
And make the mainstream
make sense, because if we do not make sense, we don't make dollars. Holla!
At our patrons Enraged Peacock.
Shout out for going undefeated in your GOAT tournament.
Hey.
Cat named Cool Slater.
And Thunder Knight.
Right out.
That's it, baby. Thank you guys for keeping the lights on, and you can help us keep the lights on just by tuning in at the Flood Pod on everything.
And that is on
everything, including Blue Sky and still X. We're still on X.
I have not used our X account
in a while, but
it did a very long while.
We're still on there. I'm still on there at Signature Doc, I believe. Elon's X's are still on X.
Apparently, that's the only way to get a hold of him.
All his X's live on that website because it's the everything app. Man,
it's the app you use to get a hold of your baby daddy.
Listen, you thought reality TV was messy, baby.
Also, my fifth rule is Michael Bay never makes a movie again.
Michael Bay brought us Bad Boys, right? So I can't necessarily.
And the first Transformers movie, but the first one.
And I watched the new Power Rangers movie. It's not that new. I think it came out shortly after COVID, 2021, something like that. And, it felt like it was trying to capture the Michael Bay energy, and it fell short, man. Like, it was
How do you fall short at catching Michael Bay energy? Do you not jump away from the explosion far enough?
Too much CGI, too much AI.
Not enough water. Or too much water, 5 out of 7.
Yeah. It really felt like... I don't feel this often, even though it's joked about a lot, but it really felt like AI wrote the script when I was watching that movie. And in all fairness, I only caught like the final act of the movie, right? Like, it was them versus Rita Repulsa and the magma gold monster. Okay, I will compliment Sandwich. The Megazord reveal at the end, because they didn't jump right into it. Wasn't like, oh, they get their powers, they got their Zords, and they can form the Megazord like right in the beginning. No, that was like something that like through the power of friendship. They totally stole the ending from Toy Story. Was it Toy Story 4 when they were all like holocausty about to go into the...
That was 3.
3, yeah. Okay, so they totally stole the ending from Toy Story 3 and got pushed into like a magma pit, but then boom, came out the Megazord, right? Like, and the black character Billy, the Blue Ranger, was like, it's like a giant Zord. No, that sounds lame. It's more like a Megazord. And I was like, he said the thing, right? Like, that was good, right? So AI, like a broken clock, gets it right every now and again. But it just,
I'm stealing your 5th pick, because you canceled out my 1 pick. I'm stealing yours.
I thought I gave a 5th pick.
Okay, yeah, I'm stealing yours.
I mean, I don't remember.
I decree that they make a sequel to Small Soldiers.
I was thinking about that movie the other day, bro.
I decree that they make a sequel to Small Soldiers.
And make it about...
that David Cross must still be in it.
And make it about what? Kids don't even play with toys.
Kerchak. Make it about Kerchak.
Kids
and the past of Kerchak.
Kids don't play with toys. I know, because I have.
I am Kerchak.
It'll be, instead of fucking action figures, it'll be Funko Pops.
I was thinking the other day, every YouTuber I see with the wall of Funko Pops in the background, I'm just like, oh, I'm so disappointed in you.
It'll be Funko Pops or Warhammer figurines.
You have to, people that legitimately collect Funko Pops. Alright, so I'm talking, you could have somebody who has, Funko Pops of a certain fandom, but when they have Funko Pops, for the sake of collecting Funko Pops,
decor, yeah, then
it's kind of like.
So what? So your taste is just shitty, then, right?
Yeah, and also it's like.
Is that what?
Does anybody take them out of the box?
We're assuming.
Does anybody take them out of the box?
Definitely. I don't think I've ever seen a Funko Pop out of the box. That would be like seeing Elon Musk not high on ketamine.
You've never seen a Funko Pop out of the box. Out of the box.
That CPAC interview, would we call that an interview? No, I'd call it a performance, because that was out of the box. Elon Musk at CPAC over the weekend, just doing his victory lap as the world's richest dictator.
The world's richest dick.
Running around on stage with a chainsaw. Literally, he said, you know what's funny about that? He did the I have become meme thing, right? Which was totally cringe, because everything Elon does is cringe. But I don't think Elon realizes he became a completely different meme. He supplanted the idea that we are totally living in the idiocracy timeline by doing the Terry Crews gif where he runs around on stage with the AK-47 after becoming the president of the United States. Bro. We need, listen, higher ups, the elite 1%, the Illuminati, all hail to the all-seeing eye, praises to the owl OVO for life. Can we talk about the script you guys have written? Because what the fuck?
I just want to share, did you pause for a second?
Did you see it?
No, I need you to just.
Right. Am I going in a different direction than you initially intended to go in?
Cognitive dissonance at its finest here.
Okay. All right.
So, John of podcast fame sent me this. Teen robbed man of Canada Goose jacket on metro train.
Oh, I saw this. I saw this on X.
He says, New York City is crazy. I respond with, sounds like snitches get stitches. I love New York City, though. And then he says, oh, I thought it was Maryland. Or, oh, it was Maryland. I didn't realize until... Just because he gets mugged does not get New York City. Also, snitches get stitches. We all know this.
Also, it's 2025. Who hasn't seen a video of a guy getting mugged on the fucking subway? Literally, that's just living in America, buddy. It's not fucking specifically one place or another. That's just literally living under the fucking economic system that we're in. But hey, we won't fix that until we address things
It literally says DC. That's
that part.
New York City must be a shithole. Nope, that's just DC, and we've known that the whole time.
I mean, Trump has been saying DC is a shithole, but that doesn't make him right for the right reasons. And
Mumbo sauce is the best thing to come out of DC in a while.
Just like Elon Musk saying that there is government waste doesn't mean that he is the guy to fix that problem. And oh boy, is he trying to make sure we all know that. Because good God, could he not? I mean,
it's
Did you see the CPAC interview?
Break it. Just, oh my God. Like, the fact that, like, they're hiring cancer workers. They're firing cancer researchers.
And
they're
sending IRS agents to the board.
Yeah, and like the news is that he just emailed every government worker saying bullet points of 5 things they've done this week. Like,
yeah, over it, like he emailed them screenshots of an X post, and that's just how your government works now. I hope we're happy.
And like your wife said that one of her clients got that email as she was getting her hair done.
Yeah, one of my wife's clients literally got an email as they were checking out that they needed to report to the office of Doge with a work update, like a weekly work update as to what they had gotten done, or else
5 bullet points,
facing a reprimand of resignation. And it just, you know, increasingly it seems to be that Elon's motto, and it's not just Elon's motto, right? Like, it's the tech sphere's motto of move fast and break things.
Yep.
Is literally the methodology they are applying to the
I like the parts of government that just work.
Nah, man,
you just expect, you don't think about them. I like the ones that I don't think about and they just work.
They are literally walking up to the fuse box and just flicking switches and seeing what shuts off and what doesn't, or pulling plugs and just being like, oh, okay, was that hooked up to somebody's life support? Was that fucking $500 or $5 million worth of like food aid that is now gonna spoil because we, stop the funding for the.
Let's just dump all the water in California. Where's it go? I don't know.
Into a dry lake.
Probably gonna put out the fires.
Let's not listen to experts and the people who are experienced in these positions. What we need is new blood. We need new, fresh ideas, Zig. That's what you don't understand. See, you are thinking like a Democrat, and that's why your brain is stalled. It's stagnant. It's rotted, like fucking like.
Right.
Tumor.
That's
because
I spend so much time thinking on the nuance. I'm a man of thinking, not a man of action. Clearly,
you're busy online gooning to girl cock. Are you serious? Like, get real. Come back to the real world. Touch grass, man. You don't understand that this is the way we get things done. We're getting rid of the penny. We've stopped sending fictional condoms to fictional Hamas children, right? There's no more Mexican transgenders getting...
Pause. I don't whack off the girl cock. I'm just throwing...
I like how you had to be like... I like how you... For clarification, my masculinity is not secure enough to let this joke slide.
Correct.
I've been accused of being a twink by 2 separate guests on this podcast.
And called a school shooter on multiple occasions. Like,
I'm not gonna... Listen, sir. I don't know if you've seen some of the transgender traps out here, buddy, but I would not, we cover the fucking Pornhub statistics. I know what you freaks are into, and it's okay. Listen, girls got cocks. Men can get pregnant, and some people don't want to accept that. And those people are Elon Musk and the MAGA movement. Because, they are already...
Insert Jamar with Glorilla joke.
I mean, Hunter Schafer... Is it Hunter Schafer, the actress from Euphoria? Went viral on TikTok this week because she was speaking out about the fact that she got her passport renewed just recently, and her gender has been switched back to her birth gender, right? Mind you, she made the switch, according to her, on her ID in high school, right? So she's a full-grown adult now. Okay, yeah. So she's 26 years old, right? According to her gender has been switched on like all of her identification since high school. She lost her passport while she was in Italy doing like some model shooting or something like that, right? And had to get issued a temporary passport. When she came back, she got her passport renewed. Her gender has now been switched, right? And she wanted, part of the reason why she felt like she needed to talk about this was because she's like, I'm famous. And like, I'm pretty passing. And I'm white. If this is happening to me, it can happen to anybody. Right?
Yeah.
And she's like, so now like, she's like, and this isn't like, what I felt was really odd about that whole thing was like she went out of her way to like, say she's not trying to be political or anything like that. And like, it sucks that people feel like we are literally in a time where people have to preface everything with like, I'm not trying to be political. Like the fucking lead voice actor for the...
No, it's one of those things where it's like, it only becomes real for people when people are affected. And she realizes she has a parasocial relationship with people to which she can make an impact.
Hudson Thames, the lead voice actor playing Peter Parker in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, went viral just recently for a little bit of a controversial take where he expressed his gratitude for the series not taking a woke direction. Right? This is alongside, him playing roles with other like leading voice actors of color and some like of the people working on like the main like script writing and stuff being people of color who have come from other shows that are like coming up in their industry now. So it's just kind of shitty to hear a take like that when it's like, dude, like, what the fuck does, like, woke, like, do you guys, like, know what that even means?
Yeah, I was about to say, like...
What is, like, being, like...
Like, hey, that interview could have been totally fine if he was just like, I'm glad that it took a more grounded approach to Spider-Man.
Yeah, like, what do you mean woke? Like, okay, yeah, we can say X-Men 97 was woke, right? Like,
you can fairly say that, yes.
Right? But, like... Why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, but you can fairly say that. I mean, Magneto was right.
Like, I think it's cheesy the way people are approaching the DEI argument when they say, I'm making people say it. And, like, I know people who listen to the pod and have personally expressed to me that they are taking that approach, right? And I don't think it's a bad approach, right? It's just, even though, okay, all right, here's something I want to talk about. Right, I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but it's to get to a direction because I feel like it's really conditional to the state that we're in right now. Like, conservatives are not funny, but they have done a really good job at making being liberal look cringe. Right? So now we are...
it doesn't help, like... with my conservative friend John, who will send me all of the, like, ridiculous, like, crying, like, worst, most pathetic you can look, like, videos of, like...
SJWs, dude.
Yeah.
Like, SJW literally became a meme. Like, way before they were decrying woke and DEI.
He shows me, like, the pixie cut, purple hair.
Yeah.
And I'm like... He's like, these are the people you with? I'm like...
Before there were Karens, that's why the like overcorrection into Karen territory was like, I think such a prolific movement because yeah, before that it was SJW memes, right? Like r/freakouts literally just became like people like doing like woke, like complaining about woke shit, right? Like post about AOC going off on her like Republican constituents and stuff like that. But there is like a real definable and noticeable difference between SJWs and Karens, and it's really odd to me how the right has been able to kind of merge the two, right? Like, let's talk about it, dude, because honestly, it is the problem. When we say the left has a narrative issue, it's not just that the left doesn't talk about issues. It's we were bullied out of being vocal about issues because we were like, SJW, here you are being woke and stuff like that. Like, all of that, those kind of talking points.
Well, I mean, I said this un momento while I pull up a relevant Blue Sky post that I made. So, as I was saying, I had to read this Blue Sky post that I made, and somebody was trying to understand about hormone blockers, and they ended up putting themselves in a situation where somebody had to respond, "Are you literally comparing your career with gender dysmorphia? You're a special kind of, aren't you?" To which I responded, "I think he is trying to come up with anything that he can relate to. For someone who has never been in that situation, it's understandable for someone to try and establish a reference point. People who are trying to learn often look dumb at first, and then they learn."
So, taking that into, like, context with the conversation, right? Do you think we can both agree that the narrative argument coming from right-wing media is disingenuous?
Oh, yeah.
Like, they totally understand that they are just pulling the Uno reverse card, and the strategy has become, not you, right? Like, no, we're not the Karens, you're the Karens. Why do you want men in wigs to read books to kids? Why does the girl need to pee in a litter box, even though that's not a real story, right? Like, but from the regular people, right, on the right, who are easily sucked up into that kind of narrative, right, where they have been conditioned to believe things like social justice warriors are cringe, right? Even if they are pink puppy-haired trans girls or pink-haired trans girls with puppy ears, right? Even though they will masturbate to that, as we've been shown, right? Like, all of the states. I need you guys to, like, really, and you can go back and confirm this in our previous episodes, because they're still up. They're not locked behind any Patreon data, and we do it for fun every year.
Yeah.
But, like, all of the states that went through with their porn bans were the ones that were really into transgender stuff, man.
Yep.
And, like, the irony...
Can't y'all just be into step families like normal people?
The irony, like, there was a lot of that going on too, man. There's a lot of that going on too.
That's like the default porn.
Okay, here's a hot take that shouldn't be a hot take that I saw the other day, and I totally agree with. I think here in the Lord's 2025,
it shouldn't be?
We need to get rid of teen as a porn category.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's really weird.
Yeah.
That with all this, like, trafficking stuff going on and everything like that, they're like, I get 18 and 19, like, whatever. It's still weird.
Yeah.
It's still weird. Like, I know that the predominant user base for a lot of these sites is of the younger variety. Right? Like, we can even acknowledge here, because we're all adults, that in modern days...
Look, I get that it's common sense.
I was gonna say, we can even acknowledge here as adults that most of us have been on a porn site way before we were of legal age. Right? It's still a little... saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
Teen is a category.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like,
yeah, a little bit.
It's like,
yeah, a little bit.
Admitting to wanting to crash the economy in order to get their way, right? Yeah.
Like I was out at Tsunami.
Do we like how I talk about politics and porn at the same time?
Yeah, I was out.
That's called being talented.
I was out at Tsunami with a friend of the pod, Mike, like a few weeks ago, and we saw a bunch of these like basically like kids come in, and they were probably like 22, 23, and we still were like, these are children.
I mean, look, man, we are getting up there. We're not quite middle-aged yet, but we are, full-fledged adults. Our brains have matured long enough in development for us to be of the mindset of being able to look at the youth and be envious, right? But
I'm still young. Fuck you.
It's weird to be like, as an adult who's, an enthusiast of adult entertainment, the teen category is always an odd place to, come across, right? Every time I see, like, fresh teenager, 18, stepdad, blah, 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 I'm like, hey, guys,
It's like,
calm down.
yeah.
Like, hey, this
It's
is
like,
why-
it's cool to watch somebody on a video who's like 27. Like, that's fine.
I'll even go a step further.
Yeah, no, it's like,
Smear my own image. If youth is what you're into, within reason, I'm not talking fucking pedophilia. Obviously, don't clip me. Everything in context. If youthful looking adults are what you're into, that's fine. We've all been.
no, like, we've
Not-
even had this conversation before. It's
I feel like that's gonna get clipped.
No,
in such a
hold
bad
on,
way.
hold on. Like, we've even talked about this. Like, there are women who are like 35 and look young and petite. Like, what the fuck are they supposed to do? It's not their fault.
They're supposed to put teen in the title. Duh, dumbass. Are you kidding me? The fuck do you mean? How else do you get views out here? Like, it's literally like the conspiracy theory that Beyonce has been lying about her age for the longest time and that she's actually like, 5 to 10 years older than what she is, but fucking for women, it is truly unfortunate that age plays such a critical role into
I mean,
the
that
way
would,
they
that
are
would make
viewed
the marriage
in
to
society.
Jay-Z less creepy, technically.
And if you want me to continue showing you how talented I am and being able to balance talking about porn and politics at the same time,
You throw
do you know
Beyonce in the mix.
who's the biggest recipient of DEI policies in America is?
Elon Musk?
White women.
Bill Burr would agree.
Through the equity, and I mean people of like old age, like older white women are not allowed to just be kicked out of their jobs anymore because they're not fucking hot eye candy. And like, sure, it's easy to be in the privilege that we are in now and not see that, but like only fucking 3 decades ago, that, I guess not 3, damn, the 70s was actually like 60 years ago, but only 6 decades ago.
It's crazy that the 80s were 40 years ago, considering they were only 10 years ago.
You almost made me spit my wine all over my laptop, and that would not have been great for the show notes. Listen, it is wild, the kind of things they are trying to roll back. And I joke about the porn all the time because it's not long before that becomes the next target of literally, as I mentioned in that segment, there's like something like 13 states already that have made porn illegal.
Have you seen how drastically Pornhub changes once you accept the cookies? It's wild. It's like an entirely different site.
Says the guy who wanted to make it very adamant that he was not gooning to girl cock girl.
I was not. I do not.
I was not.
And I do not. But I will say it goes from like Sports Illustrated Bikini Edition to what you would expect Pornhub to be.
Yeah, and also, we are allies.
Yeah.
Girl cock.
I just don't. I'm not. It's not my thing.
And
If it is your thing, go for it. It's just not my thing.
let your freak flag fly. It doesn't have to, and I think that's it, right? Like, there's somewhere down the line, I think the idea of accepting a thing and participating in that thing became conflated, right? And I will kind of
Like, we talked about this with, like, Pride when TK was on here. And I was like, Pride might be a little much for me, but, you know, like, if I was living in an apartment up the street and somebody tried to fuck with y'all, I'd be like, leave them the fuck alone.
I always find it weird when fucking people say shit like that because you have no problem watching straight people propose to each other in public, right? So, like, what the fuck is so...
It's always nerve-wracking, because what if she says no?
What is so overwhelming about a pride parade? Like, if that's your argument, like, yeah, I actually get stressed out from watching in public marriage proposals because, oh my god, how fucking, like, wrong could that go, right? Secondhand embarrassment, right? But do you know how many people are at a pride parade that feel the same fucking way? Now, sure, I think once we get past all the petty bullshit and the, like, clear displays of lack of empathy, we could talk about whether kink wear belongs at pride parades.
Yeah,
right?
like
we can have that conversation, especially now that there are, or was, more acceptance of LGBTQ children, right?
But yeah, like, I'm all for, like, the love is love thing, but I would be weird. I would be a little weirded out if I'm, like, standing at the pride parade.
Is that what makes
and then it goes from, like, the village people to, like, you know, leather on leather and
Mr.
whips
Slave?
and shit. Like,
Mr.
yeah.
Slave? Yeah, like...
I'd be a little weirded out if it goes from the village people to Mr. Slave.
I mean, I don't think that that's an unfair argument to have, right? Like, maybe not an argument, but let's say discussion, right? Like, I don't think that's an unfair discussion.
Like, if it goes from village people to Chappelle Roan to Mr. Slave.
What we are in the middle of right now, though, is like a complete erasure of all of the progress towards a civil discussion about how to integrate those things into our society for a full overcorrection into, like, what is becoming an American jihad, right? Like, it is what I find absolutely hilarious, and I really hope that as we talk about this, any conservative that may be listening, right, or any listener of ours that may be, you know, on the fence about, like, their support for LGBTQ people's rights and statuses, right? This country has literally spent the last 24 years railing against extremist ideology, right? Yep. You know, the overbearing nature of conservative, extremist Muslim men has been lampooned throughout our society for the last 24 years. Handmaid's Tale was like, I mean, literally, it's not just that. In the 80s, in the 90s, and the early 2000s, religious extremism was always a farce, right? It was always considered a farce. Now we are in a time period where people have been convinced that we have strayed too far away from a moral integrity that is more aligned with what this country is familiar with as a Christian center, right? And it's not, once again, it's not that far back that you can go and see plenty of examples of that in our media. Like, you know, before the 1970s, dude, like, the fucking Christian propaganda was heavy in all kinds of TV shows and movies and shit like that, right? Like, you would be hard-pressed to find them even talking about Jewish shit. And I remember, like, episodes of the fucking Rugrats growing up where they were talking, like, Hanukkah, right? Like, the Rugrats, Tommy and them, the Pickles was Jewish, right? Like,
oh, yeah! They were! I thought it was Chucky. It is the Pickles who are Jewish.
The Pickles...
His mom's Jewish.
No, I think it's
his mom's Jewish.
No, it's Stu and Stu's dad.
Oh, you're right!
Yeah.
Yep. But Stu's like a non-practicing Jew.
Mm-hmm. But like
his brother, full Jew. Like,
people always...
That explains a lot for Angelica.
People talk about the Attitude Era, right? Like the early, we'll say, we'll say late 1990s.
Is Angelica Pickles an embodiment of the Attitude Era?
I mean, the Rugrats did slide into the late 90s right along with South Park and all of them. And sure, obviously the Rugrats didn't have the edginess of South Park.
More empowering for the youth, Rugrats or South Park?
South Park was empowering for middle school fart humor. So I guess you could argue it was empowering for the youth, but like, listen, it's like conservatives are stuck.
I like how Matt and Trey, for their entire career, has had our generation by the balls, where we're like, no, they're hilarious. From the same time of us being 12 to when we're 30-something, and we're like, no, they're hilarious. The entire time. And they started with fart jokes, and now they're on very elaborate fart jokes.
They're billionaires now, dude. Like,
very elaborate fart jokes. I was explaining to my boss this week about the absurdity of the Streaming Wars special.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, you know, they all had weed farms, and they were all sending these little toy boats down because they needed to see that their water was the one that went to the stream to supply the water.
Yeah.
And then all of these streams were at war with each other.
I think it's wild how the conservatives have, like, I guess, merged formation and taken what Gen Xers came to love as the Attitude Era, right? And what boomers love as, you know, American traditionalism, and kind of merged the two, where it's like, I should be able to say retard and have a trad wife.
while enjoying a monster truck rally.
Yeah. And my smartphone,
I should be able to turn my frontward-facing camera while Gravedigger is jumping over something and go, please forgive me.
No, you're good, dude. Do what you gotta do.
While I turn my frontward-facing camera and go, yeah, you look at me having fun.
As I ignore my transgender daughter. Yeah, no, this year is giving big divorced dad energy, and nothing screams that more than
being a new stepdad?
Than your ex-wife, or not even ex-wife, your baby mama hollering at you through social media, a social media app that you own, to get your attention for a medical emergency that your child is having.
And not the one that you have on your shoulders to shield you from actual questions.
Listen. TLC.
Did you know that
hold on, let me cook real quick. TLC got in a lot of hot water back in, like...
TLC?
The channel.
TMZ.
TLC.
TMZ.
TLC.
Oh, TLC, the channel. Okay.
Yes. Got in a lot of hot water back in the day. I want to say around 2009, 2010, somewhere in between there, for greenlighting a show with the rapper Shorty Low and his 12 baby mamas, right? I don't even remember what the show was called. Because I don't think it was
called Waterfalls.
I don't think the show ever actually aired. Because people were in such a fucking uproar about them greenlighting an absolute coon extravaganza of a show. Right? Like, I don't even feel like it's actually fair to call the show a coon extravaganza on the show with my white coats. Where... No, but honestly...
I still know better than to say it.
It was buffoonery, right? Meanwhile, if you want a real example of DEI and white privilege, Elon Musk himself has 13 children. I don't know, probably like 6 baby mamas. Yeah, Shorty Low had like 13 baby mamas. I don't know. Hey, I don't know anything. I'm just a podcast host. But I do feel like that right there is a very good example of what Jasmine Crockett meant when she said the only people who were worried about DEI were mediocre white boys.
I actually
wouldn't be able to get by without it being canceled.
I mean, I consistently get praise for my work at work, but anyway.
You are a benefit of DEI. You know who else was a benefit of DEI? You guys want to know who else? Who else? You want to take a guess? Because it's crazy. You won't see this coming. This is an M. Night Shyamalan twist. Fucking J.D. Vance. That's right. Who grew up poor
with a crackhead mother
and went into the military and was able to get a college degree,
a law degree,
to equity and inclusion. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. Future Dave, please get the Busta Rhymes in. Anyway.
Also, for what it's worth, I joke about being a DEI hire, but I actually really did knock the socks off of my bosses with that application.
I mean, listen, dude, the idea, this is the point. The idea...
And it does help when you literally shove the application in their face.
Okay. This is the point. Democrats need to be better at communicating the narrative that we do live in a merit-based society. And we
have to get better at shit talking.
Programs like DEI, because historically, despite their merit, people of color, women, the elderly, the disabled have been shortchanged by the system put in place by the system put in place, right? So we established these programs and these things to change that stuff for the better. We now have been at benefit for those things long enough we now live in the benefit of existing long enough for those things to be a privilege, right? Like our grandparents, our great-grandparents had to fight for those things. Like the labor movement was only 100 years ago. And yes, 100 years sounds like a long time, but like in the history of the country, like if you go back to 1609 or
there are people that were alive 100 years ago, still alive.
1770, thank you.
There are still people that were alive. They're old, but they are still alive.
The last pensioner from a World War II veteran died in like 2008, right? Like this country is not that old. These things did not happen that long ago. But we do exist in a time where like the last World War II veterans are on their last leg.
Yep.
So Nazis can fucking people like Elon Musk feel comfortable doing Nazi salutes on stages that they would have absolutely gotten drugged for. The whole thing that was crazy about the Trump, historically, what was crazy about the last Trump rally, before he won the presidency, where Tony Hinchcliffe came out and made that joke about Puerto Rico, right? Is the American Nazi Party had a rally there in like 1918 or some shit like that, where there were Jewish counter-protesters waiting in the audience that absolutely went to fucking town on every single last one of those silver shirts and American Nazi sympathizers.
Shout out to the University of Notre Dame for the same reason. You know how their mascot is the Fighting Irish?
Yeah.
It's because the KKK tried to fuck with the Catholic students at Notre Dame and they got drunk on whiskey and said, fuck you, and literally kicked the Klan out of Indiana.
Not because they got jumped for fucking everybody's wives, Drake. Anyway.
It's because they said, "Oi, fuck you. We're Irish and we love Jesus. He's the Christ."
Yo, it's very... As somebody who, as the nerd who really pays attention to history, right?
Can I also go ahead. One of the reasons that I think historically Doc and I can relate on this podcast, and I'm not saying nearly to the same degree, but Irish people have been shit on for like over 1,000 years, even though not nearly as bad. We've both been shit on by white people. And we can say fuck white people.
I mean, it was only
we know Irish people were treated as badly as white people would treat another white person.
It was only in like the early 1900s, Jim Crow era shit, right? When the Irish, the Italians, and the Jews were given the same kind of privilege that Anglo-Saxon and Germanic whites were in America. And
shout out FD signifier, he was like, you know what, the Irish, y'all are cool. So thanks, FD, appreciate that.
If you have seen Gangs of New York, you would understand that. Anybody who loves mafia shit would understand that the Italians were doing that shit because they were being kept out of the system of privilege.
So were the Irish, so were the Russians.
So, when we are sitting on...
The Irish are just not commies. That's now why we're considered white.
When we are sitting on the...
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
When we are sitting on the eve of a new American Nazi movement, and I say new because, once again, if you like video games, then you would know that Wolfenstein, right, is based on the fact that there was a whole ass German Nazi movement in America. Anybody who's really into American history knows who Charles Lindbergh is. What you might not know about Charles Lindbergh is that he was the leader of the American Nazi movement and that his baby was probably kidnapped by counter-protesters who didn't want to see the fucking Third Reich rise in America. That part is conveniently left out, right? But it is very true that Charles Lindbergh himself was trying to court Hitler as the Third Reich was rising to power after World War I, right? America was very, very, very close to having its own German Nazi movement here. We even had fucking Hitler camps, right? So none of this shit is new. None of it is new. The fact that Elon is now cosplaying Charles Lindbergh himself, right, as he is toting his baby around. I am not saying, hey Ted. I'm not saying kidnap Elon Musk baby. I'm not saying do that. I do not do that. Do not. I have explicitly said, even though I compared him to Charles Lindbergh, do not do that. Do not do that.
I'm going to change the subject.
However,
before we go on break.
However, free Luigi and Angioni.
Rockstar Games has released the new date for the next GTA 6 trailer. You want to know what it is?
Ooh, 420?
Nope. February 30th. I'm gonna drop some bacon in the pan, and I'm gonna let you cook, Doc.
Listen, I just want to say, before we move on to this next segment here, that if I get black bagged for that joke I made just now, just promise me you guys will spam all of Elon Musk accounts with memes from that South Park episode where Kanye can't take a joke. Because obviously, as I went out of my way to state, just in case I get clipped. Even though I think Elon Musk is like our version of Charles Lindbergh, at no point do I suggest that anybody should kidnap his baby. Even though he's holding on to that motherfucker like he thinks it's gonna get kidnapped.
Can you imagine the press coverage, though?
It would be the most conflicting moment of that man's life.
So I saw the Elon Brood family tree, and I saw one that said, quote, unnamed, and that made me think. I'm like, is the baby unnamed? Is the baby named, quote, unnamed? Or is it like a to be determined later thing where like the child gets to pick their own name?
Oh man. Speaking of Kanye West,
No, answer the question. What do you think? Do you think that they named the child unnamed? Do you think that the child's name is not known? Or do you think it's like a predetermined or like a to be determined later thing?
I think it's probably not known. He's got enough money at this point that I feel like...
So that must be his favorite. That's the child he's hiding from public image. So that child is Elon Musk's favorite.
Do you think...
Got it.
You think that... Listen, you're not making what I said in the beginning when we came back from break any better. I just feel
no, to think that that is the only child that is completely shielded from public perception, that's probably Elon's favorite kid.
To think the thing that we're gonna go viral for is getting blackbagged for talking about Elon Musk kids too much is crazy after all of the jokes we've made on this podcast.
Austin 1, Austin 2, you know what to do. Bars?
Wow, that sounded like a signaling. Speaking of signaling,
Bars?
Kanye.
Bars. Drop the Jalen.
Bars!
Kanye West decided to drop some respect to R. Kelly after he went viral recently for some jail photos that he posted, as if Kanye West and R. Kelly couldn't do anything to smear their images any further. In a shout out to Chicago.
Well, ammonia is a
Spirit.
desanitizer.
In a shout out to Chicago.
And ammonia is
Spirit.
urine.
R. Kelly was photoed recently.
I'm gonna piss on you, piss on you, piss on you.
In a pair of crisp looking Yeezys that appear to have not been pissed on. Even Kanye himself noted that them joints did not.
So they're not worn by
crease
Drake
at all. This was just a fun bit of tangent here. And
can you imagine Kanye
God,
sending R. Kelly some pre-pissed Yeezys?
I'm just
I
trying.
just wanted to say pre-pissed Yeezys. I'm not gonna lie.
I find it entertaining that
Pre-pissed Yeezys is something I get to say in a sentence.
R. Kelly has access to Yeezys in jail. Like, his star power is so much so that even though he has committed the carnal sin of jail, which is, child molestation, right?
Yeah, even felons have kids.
He still gets Yeezys in jail and gets to take jail photos. Obviously, he's probably, I don't know, I feel like he is in Gen Pop now, right? Like, it's R. Kelly. And I'm sure a lot of those prisoners had seen the P tape and was like, she was grown. She knew what she was doing.
Well, I mean,
And
like, the
there
way the
goes.
right wing talks about the far left might react that way.
Do you think this is the point where we lost our NPR sponsorship this episode, or was it when we compared Elon Musk to Charles Lindbergh? I'm not gonna let that comparison die. By the way, I know, not a lot of people listen to the podcast, but we get, pretty decent numbers out there, and I just really, feel like it's a good historical comparison.
I still think you comparing Elon to Kanye has aged like fine wine.
A lot of my takes will age like fine wine, and when you guys...
It's crazy. We record a week behind and still see the future.
And when we finally do go viral, you guys will have, our listeners will have the benefit of saying that they had been here and that they were like...
Should we SWAT ourselves?
They were like the disciples of Jesus, right? They were following him way before the miracles in Nazareth. Way before the water and the wine, the walking on the water. You guys were here as we were just doing simple things.
Do you think I could use my tax return
Like
to
carpentry.
pay for us swatting ourselves for the PR bump? What's the fine gotta be for that?
Just promise me you guys will spam him with the funniest Kanye fish dick memes. Because he's literally out there threatening to get people arrested for calling him a bad person, dude, and suggesting that he needs a punch in the face.
And if I do get locked up for this, please just send me 2 proxy Yu-Gi-Oh decks.
They're probably right.
Just send me 2 proxy Yu-Gi-Oh decks to make sure I don't get my ass kicked.
Your friend John is listening to this like, oh, they're so cringe.
Are you kidding me? He would never have enough attention span to listen to something that's longer than 10 minutes.
This far in the pod. If you chopped it up like I told you to.
No, he still wouldn't listen. Because if he listened to the podcast, he wouldn't be sending as many dumbass, tone-deaf, completely irrelevant shit that he does.
So what you're saying is Kanye should listen to the pod and stop doing Nazi shit.
Yes. That is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think, spending his money here instead of on... That's what I'm saying. Is, guys, if you can listen, all 80 of you, if you can get this message out to Kanye that it would be much better for him to invest in The Flood with Doc and Ziggy than nitrous oxide, or maybe tell Elon, the world's richest man, that, hey, there's this really good podcast, and sure, they only compared you to Charles Lindbergh in 1 episode.
And we've only compared you to Kanye in at least 3.
Which is actually kind of a compliment.
Considering you both are fans of Hitler.
I don't know if R. Kelly is a fan of Hitler, but I can tell you who's
He is a fan of urine.
I can tell you who's a fan of not being in jail, and that's A$AP Rocky, who was acquitted in on both counts. I think it was 2 counts.
You know who's really happy about that? I can name 3 people that's really happy about that and 1 that's really mad. Rihanna and their 2 kids, and the one who's really mad is Drake.
Yes. A$AP Rocky literally leapt with joy into the lap of Rihanna when he was found not guilty, saying, "Thank y'all for saving my life." He shouted out to the jurors in
What was he even being charged with?
It was some kind of assault in the same city.
Is that a picture of him holding Rihanna?
No, that's him hanging out the limo holding his finger up like, we did it, baby. Let me see if I can
I was about to say, we have a picture of A$AP and Rihanna as a happy couple hanging right there.
Prosecutors and their witnesses said that Rocky was beefing with a former friend, A$AP Relly, with whom he had been in the Crew A$AP Mob with, according to, what is this, USA Today article? I don't know. Anyway, they said that the 2 men met up in Hollywood on November 6, 2021, after a scuffle that also included some of their high school mates. God, the word high school, once again, not my verbiage. I am reading
high school mates?
Yes, I am reading the article verbatim as it was written. Rocky pulled a gun and fired twice at Relly, who said one of the shots grazed his knuckle, but he was not seriously injured. Rocky's lawyers and witnesses said that Rocky had shot a prop gun that only fires blanks,
Not the one that Alec Baldwin was using.
He had been carrying for security and taking it from a music video set months earlier. They cast Relly as a lying opportunist who had only gone to the police because he was seeking money, right? So I'm not gonna lie,
If A$AP stole a prop gun that literally only shoots blanks, that's smart as fuck. I just wish Alec Baldwin did the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very Baz Luhrmann. It's very Romeo and Juliet. Right?
Like that's. I give him credit. That's smart because I mean, like, the last thing A$AP Rocky really wants is to catch a body.
I mean, yeah, especially when you've bagged Rihanna.
Yeah, like literally, that was my first thought. I was like, you're married to Rihanna.
Not even just that. I mean, like, I'm just trying to imagine these niggas fighting. It really, like, when I read that just now from the article, it really felt like that scene in Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
Go back, because I actually heard a take about that exact version of Romeo and Juliet. I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
It reminded me of that scene where John Leguizamo and Harold Pettigrew get into it at the gas station.
Go back to the
article.
No, the IMDb thing about Romeo and Juliet.
Oh yeah.
So the thing I saw,
Harold Perrineau.
Yeah, the thing I saw that I was blown away by was Harold Perrineau's. What's the word? Iteration? Embodiment?
Yeah, one of those two. His
performance.
Yeah,
Harold Perrineau's performance as Mercutio.
I mean,
is the best performance of Mercutio of all Mercutios.
Name me one
and
better.
This role has been around for 700 plus years.
Name me one better.
Nobody. That's so impressive.
I will go one step further and say that Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet was so good that they haven't done one since 1996, dog. It was literally the most hyper-stylized, hyper-fictionalized...
The gun that said knife?
Yes. Version of Romeo and Juliet ever. And it was so good that they were like, nope, we don't. Put it to rest. Shakespeare himself would be pleased.
Like... He was so good as Mercutio.
He was.
He was so good, he made Shakespeare understandable.
I mean, once again, shout out to Baz Luhrmann for...
I mean, that whole movie, and that's the thing with Shakespeare, is people are always like, look, if you watched a Shakespeare play, you would get it.
I mean... It made me believe Harold Perrineau is a really good actor, and it's so sad because, aside from 28 Weeks Later, what else has he been in? It's a shame when... he was in The Best Man as well. That's, first of all, I'm sure our black listeners, all 5 of you, were like...
Shout out to Derek being one of you.
What about The Best Man?
Hey, Derek, I'll be at your fight.
Listen, it's a shame to see such a talented actor's talents squandered, right?
Continue.
Can you think of another actor who you feel like was really destined for the spotlight that just kind of fizzled and never really made it anywhere?
You know what I'm gonna say, right?
Josh Hartnett?
No, Clive Owen.
Oh, well.
He definitely made it places. The problem is he just disappeared. He's in... Hey, all right, you're gonna be mad at me for saying this, but I think he's in... He stars in maybe my favorite Spike Lee movie, which is Inside Man.
Yeah. That's crazy that that's your favorite Spike Lee movie, although I will say that...
It's a great summer blockbuster movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
It's a Spike Lee movie, right?
Yeah.
It is one of Spike Lee's, I guess, biggest departures from his typical style, which isn't a bad thing, and I would like to have seen more of. I think it was Spike saying, let me take the archetypal Hollywood movie and do it the best that I can. Which is why I was gonna say I would like to have seen Spike Lee's Jordan Peele arc, right? Where Spike Lee just gets to make movies, not just black movies, but movies, right?
That's how I feel. Inside Man is just a movie.
And you can say that Get Out is both just a movie and a black movie.
I don't think you can say Get Out is just a movie.
I think it is fair to argue that is
I wouldn't call it a black movie, but I wouldn't call it just a movie either.
Right. But that's where I feel like Inside Man sits, right? In the same...
Inside Man to me can definitely be considered, quote, just a movie.
I feel like...
And that's not a bad thing.
I feel like Get Out can be the same if you look at it in the terms of just a horror movie. yes, some of the, I guess the themes of the movie, like the horror elements of the movie, are a little racial coded.
A little?
Fair enough.
A little?
I am making.
Oh man, you have such an amazing eye as I caress you. If only I had your eye.
Okay, I'm really making a semantic argument. Yes, I understand that. Yes, the horror of that movie is racism, right?
You think?
But I still think that it exists in the realms of also just a horror movie.
If only we should put you in your place. You sunken place.
I mean, it exists in the realms of just a horror movie that, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just a horror movie, even though when you look at it, it is vegan propaganda, right? Like, they are literally treated like animals out to the slaughter. It is the best vegan propaganda that you could ever give anybody ever, right? But it was also a terrific horror movie, and the horror elements of the movie outweighed the kind of message that it was putting. It's just that we exist in a time period where the world's richest man will literally go on stage and literally do a whole Nazi salute. So yeah, we can't remove the racism from Get Out yet and just enjoy it for the scary movie.
And yet the movie is almost 10 years old.
The fact that Get Out is 10 years old is almost 10 years old is crazy.
Movie came out in 2016. And I don't know if that is more indicative about how fast time moves or how little American culture has evolved over the past 10 years.
I mean, I feel like American culture has literally gone nowhere over the last 10 years. This is like a conversation that I've been holding on to for a while because I wanted to talk about it with a guest. But I feel like, obviously,
We can table it because this is one that I would want to talk about with a guest.
I don't necessarily think we need to table it anymore.
All right, well, I will say it's not something that I want to have an hour and 20 minutes already into recording.
Are we an hour and 20 minutes
Yes.
into recording? Oh, well, let's see what else is there to talk about.
I have stuff I want to talk about, but let's save that till after this break. People out there in the world.
Welcome back.
All of those people out there in the world.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to all those people out there in the world, Doc. What do you got to say to all those people out there in the world?
If you get the chance, punch a Nazi in the face.
Punch a Nazi in the face. Now, I wanted to talk about how people can have fun again, but I wanted to talk about with something that I'm having fun with and going to be very anxious and anticipatory for. And it is like the third time that I've come with this headline. And it's like the third time that I have good news coming with this headline. But Hunter x Hunter is coming back.
Hey, so manga or anime?
Anime.
Hey, okay, that is big news. That is big news.
The Hunter x Hunter IP was renewed this year for a new season.
Oh shit. So where do you think that would pick us up off?
So that picks us right after the election arc, where now we are going to be getting ourselves prepared to go to the Dark Continent. So, for everybody,
so this sounds like a big arc.
So spoiler, it's huge because it's like the entirety of the world of Hunter x Hunter that we know of, it turns out are just islands in the middle of a big lake.
Okay. So
and all of the things on the continent surrounding this lake is called the Dark Continent. And by that, I mean Dark Continent, I mean the world was just existing in a lake. And it turns out everything on the Dark Continent will either save humanity or completely destroy it.
Oh, so it's the Flat Earther arc.
Kind of. Kind of.
Every Hunter x Hunter fan just audibly gasped like, Well,
Once you go beyond the constraints, I suppose.
so I'm expecting B.O.B. to have a guest appearance.
But
At least be doing the theme song.
there are things like
on.
nitro
Oh, yeah.
rice, which is an unlimited food supply that expands the human lifespan.
Right.
But then there's also things like there's this virus that turns people immortal, but the only way that they can survive is by consuming their own flesh.
So, like,
And then there's
self-harming vampires? Or self-harming zombies?
Yeah, there's basically. So the chimera
So,
ant.
trigger warning.
The chimera ant apparently.
So, trigger
came-
warning.
So the chimera ants apparently came from the Dark Continent, and they were a threat level B.
yeah, that's why I said trigger warning.
There are threat level S's. And the chimera ants, which killed fucking Chairman Netero, were a threat level B.
So, who knows what the Dark Continent has waiting? It might even have black people.
You know who might know, would be Dawn Freaks, who is Golan's great-grandfather, who may still be alive.
So we'll get to find all these things out in this new season, you think? Maybe? It seems like it.
We're gonna get some information, and then, because you have to catch up to the manga, and the manga now has, like, a fairly significant chunk of it done to where they can make a season of Hunter x Hunter.
So, that's
I will take 13 new episodes of Hunter x Hunter, yes.
for fun, right? I mean, at this point, okay. So, breaking down your broader statement, opening up this last section, I don't disagree with you that I do think we are overdue for a bit of relief, right? It has been a pretty climactic snowball effect since Trump's 2016 election.
Now, I will
Right,
say,
like-
like I said, if they never put an episode of Hunter x Hunter out again, I'll be like, the series ended fine. It ended fine. Like, I get it. It's a decent point to end it. He met his dad.
Can you say that? It's so funny that you say that after I talk about, like, the fucking follow-up to the Obama presidency.
It's not like the end of Full Metal Alchemist. The last 10 episodes of Full Metal Alchemist are some of the most hype media I've ever seen. So when, like, I go Hunter x Hunter ended fine, I'm like, yeah, I mean, the main storyline wrapped up, I guess. That's fine. Like,
What would you say the American history equivalent to Full Metal Alchemist, the ending of Full Metal Alchemist would be, right? Like, if the Obama years the Obama years are the ending of Hunter x Hunter, right?
No, I'm gonna say, as far as like a media, like the way a piece of media wrapped up, and a piece of American media that wrapped up in a way that was satisfying the way Hunter x Hunter was, I actually have a good immediate answer.
Well, I'm not talking about American media. I'm talking about, because I was like,
Well, I
was drawing a through line. I was drawing a through line though, because I just found it funny that you mentioned that. As I was talking about, like, having fun in Trump era, like, and how everything has been chaotic after Trump, and you were like, I have to say that the way Hunter x Hunter ended, if that's the way it ended, was satisfying. And I'm like, I'm thinking about America
it wasn't satisfying.
and Obama.
It was fine.
Once
However,
again,
I will say,
don't
hold on,
think
a
you
piece of
understand.
American media that had me feeling as satisfied as the way I was at the end of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood
blinded.
was the end of 6 Feet Under.
That's fair. I mean, I
Like
guess
the
I wasn't-
ending montage where it goes through all of their lives. Like, that was one, it was super heartfelt. I felt completed for every single character.
You was in on 6 Feet Under like that?
Yeah, I watched every episode of that show. That show was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
And like the very end was like they had that whole montage where basically it showed the rest of every character, the end of every character's life. I felt fully satisfied with how that series ended, and I was like, that's a beautiful ending, and I'm okay with it.
I'm glad you can say that, right? Because as you were saying that, I'm thinking about how in I was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and when that show ended and how they like just blew up Sunnydale and left it as a crater and Buffy walked off into the sunset. And now they're like reviving Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I don't know if it's like a reboot or if it's a revival, and I'm like,
alternate universe.
Yeah, who knows how that's gonna pick up, but I'm thinking about America. And if this really is the end of America, and we can really look at the end of America as beginning with the end of the Obama era, like, yeah, I feel the same way that you feel about Hunter x Hunter, dog, where it's like, it's not satisfying, but it's not disappointing either. Like, sure, we got a black president, and that was it. That will be so fucking, it couldn't have been scripted any goddamn better if it was a Michael Bay movie, right? Like, we started with the revolution into slavery, and then there was the Civil War, right? And then there was Martin Luther King and JFK and Lyndon B. Johnson and Richard Nixon and George Bush and Bill Clinton, and we ended with Obama.
And this week's hit on the algorithm is Pink Pony Club by Chappelle Roan.
Keep on dancing at the Pink Pony Club. Hey, yo, for real though, shout out to Chappelle Roan, because she did one of the realest things that I have seen an artist do in a long time.
Yeah.
And that speech that she gave after winning their Grammy.
Like, new artist, first time to actually address in this type of environment, and she's just like, look, y'all gotta support the artists. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that might be the last time she wins a Grammy.
So, championship ring to you.
With 3 in the bottom of 9th inning to become the world champions yet again.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible!
Got a really big team, and they need some really big rings. They need some really nice things. Better be coming with no strings. Better.
Because that was baller as fuck, and I may not really be I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan of Chappelle Roan's music. She makes good music. Her vocals are great. Her instrumentation is, or not her instrumentation, but like, I guess the sound production of her music is great. I totally get why people are fans.
I just don't listen.
It's just not my market.
I just don't listen.
I mean, I did listen to Pink Pony Club. This is a great song.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be in my rotation? No, but it's still this week's hit on the algorithm, and we see why. Future Dan, you the man, back at it. So as we were saying,
people need to learn to have fun again.
So, okay, you say that, right? But we are in a time period where, like, we are in a timeline where there's literally a shadow president who's probably, but maybe not, but probably pushing, like, Christian ethno-nationalist, like, tendencies throughout the government. They are literally threatening to jail journalists who speak out against the current administration. People are being fired.
Look, and I get it. It takes a lot of energy to fight. But you know what?
It also takes a lot of energy to have fun.
Energy to fight unless you take some break to have some fun. And that's even something that CNN wants to discuss. Adults may want to consider revisiting their childhood hobbies, according to a psychologist. And this is something that I want to talk about because I am a child.
A 32-year-old child, right? So, like, okay. Go ahead and read the CNN article and give your argument, and I will give my thoughts.
Una Varga spent her childhood winters gliding across the ice at Steinberg skating rink in her hometown of St. Louis, while summers meant cruising on her roller skates through neighborhood streets. Varga's love for skating has sparked when a friend brought her a second-hand pair of roller skates from Craigslist. She was hooked from the moment she laced them up at the age of 8. When I was younger, Roller skating brought me an immense amount of joy, she said. I loved feeling the wind flow through my hair. But as Varga entered her early teens, skating gradually vanished from her routine. Until a few years ago, when she decided to invest in a new pair of roller skates that fit her properly. At 22, Varga has rekindled her passion for skating, welcoming the playfulness and freedom that it brings to daily. I am personally offended that they're talking about like this old ass person who's 22.
So, okay, all right, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. And I'm gonna have to, okay. I appreciate the sentiment, but here is why I'm gonna appeal to our right-wing listeners and say this is why Fox News is winning and CNN is trash. I'm sorry, millennials have been doing this. We literally made it a trending thing during the pandemic. We were all getting checks to sit at home and rediscover our childhood whimsies.
And made a lot of money on Magic the Gathering cards in the process.
Duh. Obviously, that's what you're supposed to be able to do as an adult. Now, like, I'm gonna let you finish, but honestly,
I think, so my point is, the sentiment, ignore the fuck of the 22-year-old that rediscovered roller skating.
Because 22
It is important to have fun. It is important to have fun. So they have in this article the whole play personality quiz thing, and I took it. Did you take the quiz as well?
No, I didn't. I haven't taken it yet, but I am very interested on hearing what your results were because it is, I don't disagree with the sentiment, but like CNN, this is why Trump was right. Because CNN is so willing, all of it, everybody is willing to say the things without acknowledging the actual problem. But go ahead, go off, King. What were your test results?
Basically what you're saying is you wish that this was the BuzzFeed article and not a CNN article?
Absolutely not. This is CNN doing BuzzFeed.
Mine was the creator. How shocked are you?
How shocked is anybody listening to the pod? Please, if you guys are shocked, shout us out at the Flood Pod.
If you're shocked that Zig got the creator for how they like to play.
So pretty much what you were saying is you would be...
There's nothing I love more than a good Rube Goldberg machine.
You would be the dungeon master.
Yes, absolutely. Or I would be the one that makes the dungeon master's life living hell.
I've actually read the manual through and through.
I'm like, you were stupid enough to give me unbreakable rope. You idiot.
So, elaborate on it. Did it give characteristics for the creator?
Yes, it did.
Did it give character? Okay. What were the other and what were the other archetypes?
Did you take the quiz?
No, I said I hadn't taken the quiz yet.
Oh. Hold on. Let me live take this quiz because it deleted my actual responses. So the first one was, what if you had to spend $50 on something, and it was a goofy hat, a writing workshop, I can't remember, and the other was a set of traffic cones, and I said a set of traffic cones. Your new podcast is most likely to be called It Started With One, my quest to complete my collection. The Neighborhood, fascinating backstories I made up for people I don't know. You can't make a podcast about that. My journey in making abstract art. Or How to Do Stuff, weekly instructions for doing stuff. Which one am I picking?
Listeners, which one do you think would be a good switch for...
Which one do you think I am picking? And I will tell you which one I'm picking.
The last one.
Yeah, I'm definitely picking weekly instructions for doing stuff about stuff. Suddenly, your home has a new spacious bedroom. You immediately set work converting it into a space to organize and display your collection, a dance studio, a decked out space for your gaming PC, or an art studio.
Decked out space for your gaming PC.
Art studio.
Well, yeah, I mean...
Look, I have paint marks on my fucking bedroom floor from when I made that One Piece.
I mean, yeah, I know. I was being controlled.
You haven't seen your long-distance best friend in months. You pick them up at the airport and take them straight to a place that you've never been before, so you can both check it out, your latest eBay purchase, show them your latest bargain bin finds, or show them a painting you've been working on.
Definitely the last one.
Definitely the painting. I have done that. Literally done that. Your new YouTube series features you performing tricks you learned in circus arts class, discussing the nuances of a highly specific niche interest, just facing 3 minutes of making weird faces, and explaining how you managed to beat a video game that just came out.
The last one.
I'm pretty sure it's discussing the nuances of a highly specific niche interest.
Okay, I feel like that can also blend with the last category, which is discussing how you beat a video game that just came out. Like, I feel like there have literally been cold opens to the podcast that are you discussing a niche interest about a video game that you just beat.
There was one about me playing a video game I just lost in.
Yeah, literally. 2 weeks ago. Please go listen.
You work at an elementary school now, but at least you get to pick your position. You're before I even list the options, what am I?
The art teacher?
Yep, that is one of the options, and that's the one I picked.
Yeah.
Everyone at your school/work has to join a club. What club do you join?
The Pink Pony Club.
Fiction writing club, improv group, trading card club, marathon training club. I'm starting a club for people who think people shouldn't have to join clubs.
You know, because Pink Pony Club wasn't the answer, I'm gonna have to say that you are joining the club for people who shouldn't have to join clubs.
Trading card club.
Oh damn, I forgot.
You just parked at your favorite city park. What's next? Find some folks for a pickup game of something. Find the new hiking trail and give a try. Go for a run and try to beat the time for your last visit. Go make up backstories for the squabbling ducks.
Obviously, you're gonna try to run a pickup game of basketball.
I was actually gonna say find a new hiking trail.
I could see you doing that, but I feel like if there was a basketball court around,
I would play 1.5 games until I feel like asthma is kicking in. When realize I should just use a water filtration system.
Yeah, go.
Anyway, my result was the creator. The creative person is inherently at play when they create. Adults who play through creating include traditional artists who paint, sculpt, or draw, as well as non-traditional creators like landscape contractors, model railroad builders, crafters, or even aquarium owners. People who delight in imagining new ideas and bringing them to life are all enjoying the playstyle of creator.
I'm sorry. What inspires new idea when you look at a fish? Anyway, okay.
Ask Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a man of many interests.
I feel like I really want to know what the other archetypes were, but also,
did you not take the quiz?
No, I didn't take the quiz.
Take the damn quiz!
I will take the quiz and I will post the results of my quiz at the Flood Pod online on everything, and that is on everything, so you'll have to check it out there. But,
alright, hold on.
Oh, are you finding the archetypes? Do you think you can find them?
Yes! Alright, so, here are the archetypes. The Joker. The kinesthetic.
God. The kinesthetic?
The explorer. The competitor. The director. The collector. The creator.
This sounds like some Myers-Briggs shit. CNN, are you guys doing Myers-Briggs
No,
shit now?
this is from Lindsey Bramman, who is a psychologist.
I mean, I get it. It feels a little Myers-Briggsy, right?
Would you like descriptions for them?
We don't have to go over all the descriptions.
Are there any that you have questions about the description?
No, because
The Joker, the kinesthetic, explorer, competitor, director, collector, storyteller, creator.
I really want to talk about grander concept of this idea of having fun, though, right? Because I don't disagree with you. And I feel like we are in what is our like 70s era. I mean, Kendrick was out in the bell bottoms, right? Which I found out were like a protest fashion aesthetic in the 70s because they were replicant of the kind of pants that Navy men would wear.
I really,
right?
like, as much as I know Kendrick has intent behind everything, at a certain point, I really feel like there are some things he's just like, let me do this and see if I can fuck with them.
I mean, it's okay, yeah.
Like, I feel like that's the type of thing where he just, let me see if I can fuck with them.
I mean, it's not even just that, right? Like, bell bottoms aside, right? Like, the meaning of Kendrick wearing the bell bottoms aside, right? Like, bell bottoms in themselves harken back to the 70s, which were a very revolutionary period when people were wearing a lot of military garb, which I found out bell bottoms were, right? So like around that time,
What's the military efficacy of bell bottoms?
it's a Navy thing. It was something about like the way the pants would get wet and avoid like getting mud in the boot or some shit like that. I'll have to find it. You know, if I can find it, then I'll talk about it next episode. Give us a shout out if you want to hear like the full rundown on what bell bottoms had to do with the Navy, or shout us out if you know the backstory.
Lighthouse update incoming! Woo!
Woo! As I said, it was a 70s thing, right? Like, you know, all 50s all the way through the 70s, because like I think it was like also like a hippie thing, right? It harkens back to, though, when military aesthetic became fashion, right? Which was during the 70s when we were having a lot of the revolution with civil rights. Like, it was like the follow-up to the revolution for civil rights, right? Like, which had been carried on since the 50s when the military was also like a big thing, right?
Right
like,
time, but the wrong guy?
So, with that being said, like in between that, we gave birth to the culture gave birth to the hippie movement, which it embraced a lot of the free love and have fun aesthetic. But all that also came to an end in the 70s, not just because of the Manson murders, right? But also because America was plunging into like an economic
I'm gonna ask a really fucked up question and you're gonna be like, wow, I cannot believe you asked that.
Was all of that fun?
If you replace MLK with Kendrick Lamar, does the civil rights movement go better or worse?
Oh my god. Are you suggesting that they shoot Kendrick Lamar at
You think Martin Luther King would have the rap career that Kendrick Lamar has had?
Did you not?
Because I know Kendrick could write a letter from Birmingham jail.
Did you not see the fucking Boondocks episode about this? They literally did a Boondocks episode about it. No, fam. So I guess, long story short, what I'm saying is we've been here before, right? And we had a movement in this country during the 70s that kind of gets like brushed over because of the campiness of it all now, right? But like the 70s was very influential for a lot of things. One, it gave rise to a lot of black cinema through what is now known as the like blaxploitation era.
Yeah, hip-hop wouldn't exist if it wasn't for how shitty disco was, except for those 8 seconds.
Disco was not shitty, and I think that's a shitty take.
Look, I know disco isn't shitty.
Disco
One of my favorite subgenres of rock, arguably my favorite subgenre of rock, is disco rock. Okay?
It's okay, but we have to stop, like, as on this side, we have to stop making these contrarian takes. And like, yes, I'm gonna take a minute to be serious here, because like the right this is what we were talking about earlier. The reason why they have been able to twist the narrative and make being woke
it's the very Descartes thing. The people that get their jest from acting like idiots will soon be surrounded by idiots who think they're in good company.
Yes, it is literally the reason why Matt Stone and Trey Parker made the whole Honey Boo Boo episode where Cartman and Honey Boo Boo wrestle in a pile of spaghetti because it was them coming to terms with the fact that they may have lowered the bar in terms of the standard of comedy, right? And to tie it all back in the majestic way that I do to once again signify my talent here is we have lowered the bar here in what having fun actually, we don't even know what that means anymore.
I want to go climb something. That's what I want to do. I was thinking about these childhood things that I want to do. I want to go rock climbing because I'm tall and I exist in a world where I see over everybody. And I know that sounds pretentious, but that's literally my perception of the world.
As my white co-host,
I see over fucking everyone. You know what sucks for me? Going swimming in a pool. You want to know why? Because 80% of them top out at 5 feet. That's not fun for me.
So
going rock climbing, that's fun. I want to go and climb up shit. That sounds fun.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Zig, but like my point here is I think the majority of our listeners and the majority of our population all sympathize and empathize with your sentiment, right? Like we all want to have fun, but we can't.
I want to say those Saturdays that people don't know what to do and they spend doom scrolling. You know what I like to do on my birthday?
Okay.
You know what I like to do on my birthday, and it's something I almost never do other than my birthday? I like to go to the batting cages and take 30 swings at a baseball.
So,
and it's something I've always enjoyed. It's something I'm not the best at, but it's fun. And it's something I've always liked. So I do it.
So to lean into your devil's advocacy here a little bit, I do think that what could be helpful here for society as we are coming to terms with the internet being the toxic thing that it has become, right? Like the dead internet theory is real. Let's and let me cook here for a minute. Like just listen to where I'm going because I think you can agree that Facebook has admitted to it. Elon claimed it before he bought Twitter. A lot of the internet is bots right now, right? Like literally, I made the joke earlier, but two of the best social media websites are Tumblr and Reddit, and that is because Reddit, for what it's worth, is still like user moderated, and Tumblr is honestly like just an enclave of your own like personal space.
Blue Sky has 32 million active users. Just saying.
But my point is this. I guess what makes those two websites special is like they don't invite the need for, or they don't invite and encourage the use of bot activity, right?
The thing about Tumblr and Reddit is Tumblrs and Redditors, they both know that Tumblr and Reddit suck.
Okay, so
they both know it sucks.
Not to lose my point here. What I'm saying
But am I wrong?
No, because all of social media sucks. It all sucks at this point. Like, yes, we keep holding on to this idea that social media could be this grand unifier, right? Like the town square as we all thought it would be.
That's why I said if my decree from the beginning, it would all be open source.
Where people could come together, but unfortunately that coming together has really just culminated. And even if it was all open source, I kind of think that it still would have gone down the same path. Because what we have done, despite the push from advertisers, right, and malicious parties, we have further put ourselves into these niche communities and these tribal bubbles, right, where we're not really branching out and talking to people outside of the spaces that we would have normally talked to people anyway, which is what kind of made America so unique in the first place, right? Is it was this melting pot where you were forced to interact with different cultures all over the place, no matter where you went. And now, because of the internet, we have kind of dug our heels into the cultures that make us comfortable, right? Like, we were all kind of forced to interact with each other's culture before through like cable and magazine
And that weird
and
1 week
movies.
with Red Note.
But like, now you can find a space that makes you feel safe, right? And even though that sounds like a good thing in the long run, like, anybody who's owned a pure breed dog knows that actually it's better for things to be mixed and multicultural. So the experiment is failing, but I think
We had a purebred Airedale when I was a kid. I don't even know if I ever told you I had a pet dog.
No.
But Duncan was a fucking prick.
And I mean, listen,
Duncan was a fucking asshole. I mean, granted, our family was terrible at taking care of a dog.
well,
But Duncan was a fucking prick.
America's not too much better at taking care of its citizens, right? Like, it's, and
I can say that, like, when Duncan got taken to a farm, he legitimately got taken to a farm.
I mean,
I went with him to the farm.
hey, you know, if RFK gets his way, if RFK gets his way, lots of us are gonna get taken to farms. So, you know, just get ready for
I mean,
that.
let's be honest. He was a purebred Airedale, worth way too much to just go to the actual, quote, farm.
I don't know if you guys are ready for that to be your cure for depression, right? Like, I don't know if that's the kind of fun you were aiming for, but like, yes.
I just want to point out that whole part where during the whole Trump's gonna annex Gaza thing, nobody actually mentioned the part where he said it would be so great. It's like, that motherfucker was about to say valuable. Let's not. He was talking straight up about to say valuable.
I don't think the value of America being able to release a little bit here right now, not just America, but the world.
But think
right?
about the value of ethnic cleansing Gaza. Think about the value there, the equity you could get from that beachside property. Purified of Palestinians.
That's my point, dude. Like, yeah, we need to have fun right now, and I guess we'll find a way, because we did during the 70s, and that was a very tumultuous and chaotic time.
I'm gonna go rock climbing this week. I'm going to go rock climbing this week.
And I think everybody should try to find a way to find some kind of release right
Get
now.
on a bicycle.
Get off of the internet. Like, and
get on a bicycle. Bicycles are fun.
you can listen to a podcast on a bicycle, by the way.
Which is something the article actually mentioned. If you want to combine several of your favorite activities at once, it might enhance the pleasure of both.
I do think right now it is very important, though, however, to find community IRL, right? Because
Preferably community IRL that enjoys to have fun together. So you don't just find community in rage.
two things can be true.
Yes.
You should be mad right now. You should absolutely be furious right now.
Big mad.
What is happening to our country is ridiculous.
I literally open
It
Blue
is a
Sky every
farce.
day and go, what are they breaking today?
It is a farce. What is happening to our country is a joke, and they should know we don't think it's funny. None of this shit that is going on is going to benefit anybody who doesn't make $86 billion a year. And Elon makes $200 more billion a year than that. But I also think you cannot effectively fight this right now if you are not finding some kind of way to release.
You
And
cannot find the strength to fight this unless you remember what you are fighting for.
And it is the fun that you can have and still can be had despite eggs costing $8 a carton. $8 a carton, right? Because
Yeah, if you're egging somebody's car, you're sending a message.
I don't know how many times I've seen the tweet that, like, it was funny that when we were growing up, we used to throw eggs and toilet paper at houses as a joke, and now you would never do
Like,
that.
you're sending a message.
Like, bro, that's why we can't have fun anymore, and it's because they don't want us to have fun. They want to have fun.
I was,
And I
at
want
one
to-
point in
hold
my
on,
life,
let me-
I was a petty high schooler that egged my ex-girlfriend's truck.
Let me talk to him real quick, dog, because I really do think that it is going to become clearer sooner than later that it is very obvious that the country made a very poor decision. And not just because you guys hate the Dems, like most of the left hates the Dems too.
Yeah.
They're spineless. I don't know if you've heard Hakeem Jeffries and the rest of them talk lately, but
Chuck Schumer, we will win. We will win.
it's pathetic. They're spineless, they're gutless, and they're part of the reason, if not the majority of the reason.
There's Jasmine Crockett and AOC.
Why this
and
is-
apparently our House of Representatives rep actually kind of goes hard too. For, you know, a little white woman with glasses.
Sarah? Oh yeah, Sarah. Yeah, I've talked to Sarah Elthrift, like personally.
Really?
Like, yeah, I've met her in person, dude. Like, she's good people. I've had talks with her. She was not afraid to answer, like, the hard questions.
Where'd you meet her?
When I was living in jail, she was doing, like, in-person, like, canvassing. She was going door to door talking to people.
Oh!
Right? Like, grassroots shit. So, I want to say that, like, despite the media circus, there are people who genuinely care about this country, and we can
Because, like, I saw her, like, trending on Blue Sky.
we can get back to a point where
Like, she dropped an F-bomb.
are having the real discussions, but right now these people in power don't really take us seriously, and they don't think you deserve to have fun. They don't think you deserve to live. That is why your rent and your mortgages are 50% of your income. That is why groceries have skyrocketed and continue to go up in price, even though economically the country was doing great. Literally, interest rates were down until Trump's inauguration. Unemployment was the lowest it had been up until Trump's inauguration.
I
And-
told you about my new favorite website called Trump Goes Golfing.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Ground News, because if you're not, and this is like, we're not sponsored, but if you're not subscribed to Ground News, you should definitely be subscribed to Ground News.
Trump Goes Golfing keeps track of 4 things: the number of days he's been in office, the price of eggs, the price of gas, and the number of days he's gone golfing.
Trump gets to have fun going golfing. Elon Musk gets to have fun running around on stage with the chainsaw. Pete Hegseth, Vivek Ramaswamy, fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene, all of them, they get to have fun owning the liberals while you guys are paying $4 for gas,
Like,
$11 for packs of cigarettes.
literally do not get it. It's like, is owning the libs worth more to you than the
Childcare.
quality of life?
Child care is literally $1,000 a week.
None of this should be normal.
Yet they are trying to convince you it is, and that it should be, and that you should accept hard times instead of having fun, when everybody should be trying to have a little bit of fun right now. Because
But what we're saying is have some fun, guys. Just remember to try to have some good, innocent, legitimately innocent fun.
get offline. What I'm saying is
Go touch some grass. Go climb some trees.
Go mold some clay. Go learn how to woodwork. Do the shit you were doing during COVID.
Yeah. Pursue a hobby.
Instead of spending money on these streaming services, because all y'all do is complain about Netflix anyway, and trust me, we will tell you guys if there is something worth starting your Netflix subscription up for again.
Yes.
But
by the way, one of which, the Court of Gold, is an incredibly high quality sports documentary, giving The Last Dance a run for its money for the best basketball documentary ever produced. It's highly worth a watch. And it's not just an Olympic documentary that you would be like, oh, it's produced by an American studio. Must be focused on America. Definitely gives a deep dive into all 4 countries it follows: Canada, Serbia, France, and the US. And
I mean, My Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was great, right? Like, despite the things that the lead voice actor said about woke ideology. Invincible Fight Girl, one of the newest cartoons on Adult Swim, right?
And Invincible and Solo Leveling.
Dragon Ball Daima, like, there is
Solo Leveling is visual heroin.
Dude, there's such good media out right now. There's great books out right now.
Yeah, it's really hard to keep track of the amount of fucking banger shows they're trying to produce to distract us from the hellscape that's going on in the world. But if you need more distractions from this hellscape, you can go to tokenmpg.com and use the promo code Ziggy to get 10% off of your order for all Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood, board games, card game supplies. And if you are feeling extra generous to contribute to the distraction from this hellscape while we discuss this hellscape, you can subscribe to our Patreon at the Flood Pod. And that's another shout out. Thank you to our patrons Enraged Peacock,
AC, Keep It Cool Cat Slater,
and Thunder Knight. Right out!
And you can follow us at the Flood Pod for more updates on all hot takes, and we'll be back at you guys next week with more fire.
Look, it's a flood. It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Wait, why can't we talk about Black Sabbath?